I'm just
I do
saying.
this.
I'm just saying.
He always be saying.
I'm just
the
saying.
bitch should always be saying. Saying always.
You know, it's funny. When I first met Eddie, that was, oh, well, wait. I'm Omari.
And I'm Eddie.
And we are the two voices of the week. Start Natives, our culture unfiltered.
Discussing the way of this world.
And the
Next.
Two voices.
Two voices.
Queer.
Queer.
Candid.
Candid.
Discussing the way of this world and the next.
Discussing the ways of this world and the next. Discussing the ways of this world
Candid.
and the next.
Discussing the way of this world and the next.
Discussing the ways of this world and the next.
He used to always be like, it's two things that Eddie used to always do. He'll tell you some shit that pisses you off, and then he'll be like, I'm just saying. And then when you did something that was maybe whorish or ridiculous, maybe stupid, he'd be like, interesting. So it's funny now because when I be like, I'm just saying, he'd be like, oh, you just saying some bullshit. I'm like, yeah, bitch. That was your go-to. And whenever he do some shit, he'd be like, oh, well, I'm talking to this guy and I'm doing this. Okay. Be careful. Oh, that was one too. Yeah.
Be careful.
Like, okay, be careful.
I'll still do it. Here and there.
Be careful. You never know. You just never know. But
and whenever I finish giving an advice, I will be just saying.
Right. I'm just saying. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just just sharing how I feel.
Exactly.
Okay. So wait, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. Yeah. So Eddie and I were talking. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Okay, yes I do. So Eddie showed me this essay written by JK Rowling, of Harry Potter fame. Mm-hmm. Little boy, scar on his head, chosen one, all that stuff. Peter Pettigrew, all that.
The one that survived.
Mm-hmm. And she was
the one who lives.
The one who lives.
Exactly.
And he whose name we shall not speak.
Mm-hmm.
But JK Rowling wrote about I guess she's been receiving a lot of backlash in regards to some comments she made about the trans community. Mm-hmm. And people, of course, sadly have tried to label her like a transphobe. Mm-hmm. Eddie and I were reading the passage, and I don't think at all she's a transphobe. I think that she is someone who is trying really hard to have an understanding of a situation and also she's trying to be delicate about certain things, and I guess life. And like how people are and how we can tend to be. Mm-hmm. In particular, she was referring to essentially like peer pressure, where sometimes you feel isolated as a child or as a teenager and you look for community, you search for community. And there was like this one study or case in a certain community where there were a whole bunch of girls, mm-hmm. and I don't want to call them girls because they are trans men now, but they were girls then, I guess
they were girls then, but not boys.
Right. So they found community amongst each other, and they, did the study and found that many of them transitioned and became trans men to kind of fit in with the group that they were a part of, because they were searching for community. And she said something really interesting that I thought was important, where she was saying that had she have been in the kind of space that a lot of people today seem to be in, like if she would have been in that space and not had someone to go to and not had some kind of community or found herself in some things, she have possibly succumbed to the idea of transitioning simply because she needed community
or
feeling and I hate it because it's like one of those things where sometimes people don't want to have certain discussions.
In other words, they don't want to have a deep, real.
Yeah, because they feel like you're judging them, or they feel like you're going in on them or something like that. Now, it's one thing to say, ew, you have a dick, you got titties, you're gross. Like that's a personal attack on who I am, like my physical being. Cool, but it's another to talk to somebody and they're trying to gain understanding, and they're trying to understand because. I know, we talk about how you can't turn gay, you can't turn people gay. It's either there or it's not. But then I think sometimes we are so naive and so like, we're unwilling to see that people are influenced by all types of things. Children are impressionable.
Yeah.
And it's like, just because you can be gay, you can not be gay and still have done gay things.
Wait, what?
You cannot be gay and still have done gay things or engaged in, homosexual activity because...
Or you cannot be straight.
Yeah, you can
have done
right,
those things.
right. Yeah. Same token.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of guys. The thing is, there are so many people, men and women, trans men, trans women, who have had sexual experiences with people of the opposite sex, who have had sexual experiences with people of the same sex, and they might not necessarily identify as that, whatever that means to have had sex with that person, opposite or same sex. So everything ain't for you, but sometimes you try things out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that, you may have tried something out and it wasn't for you.
Correct.
But the thing is with being trans, and if you do take that step to go further, because I did see an interview one time where there was a trans woman who transitioned. It was a guy, he transitioned to a trans woman, and he did talk, she talked about, the reason why I'm saying this is because she regretted it.
Oh, okay. But how does she refer to herself then? I'm only saying it because of the
No. I get that. Well, the thing is, when this came out, it was kind of, I think it was before Caitlyn. Like it was a while ago. Early, it was a while ago. Early 2000s. Yeah. Early 2010s. Yeah. So it was before all of this language. Yeah. In a way. So I don't really necessarily remember exactly how
she referred to herself.
They refer to themselves, yeah.
Or they. Well, that's another thing. Or we can just say they because it's like,
Yeah, I don't really remember how they refer to themselves, but the point was that sometimes you do feel a certain way. We all grow, and sometimes we do make decisions that we cannot come back from.
Correct.
And I do think it's very important to be able to understand that and understand why people have the concerns they have, that it's not always just this hateful thing.
Yeah, it's not like an oppression. They're not trying to oppress you or not trying to let you live. Like, it's just kind of having a concern. Like, there's nothing wrong with me having a concern on life. And then, if it's kind of like, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
So don't belittle me.
Right.
Don't kill me in a way. Right. Because you feel that I'm being transphobic. It's just I'm trying to understand. So in that way we can have some type of a mutual understanding.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what she's trying to do. Because even with this article, it's like she's trying to kind of put her point across, because it's kind of how we always say content matters.
Yeah, content and context.
So it matters. So in the sense of like a tweet here and there would not really...
It doesn't really get the whole full grasp of what we're talking about here.
Of it. So if we react only towards that tweet, are we even giving that person the day of life? Like,
and do you even care to? The thing is, sometimes people don't care. Sometimes people just want to say their piece and go.
Exactly.
But the thing is, the difference between, I think that's what it is. It's like sometimes people I think sometimes you may be so used to being attacked because of who you are and who you believe yourself to be, that you are on the defense about things.
That's just a trauma that you have to deal with yourself.
That's a trauma that you need to deal with yourself. I remember so it's different. Like, having discussions with somebody wants understanding is one thing. There is another one, you have to just being disrespectful. Yeah. Like you had I remember when I was in high school, there was this girl and she asked me, she said, "So you gay, right? Does that mean, does your shit just fall out your ass?"
No.
What? What? Excuse me? Young lady.
Exactly. Come over here.
Come here real quick. Come here, baby.
Before I slap the hell out of you.
But yeah, she said, I was just like, ooh. And mind you, thankfully, I'm as silly as fuck as I am. Because, bitch, shit was funny to me. But I was just like, really, bitch? Yeah. Like, girl, what? Does my shit just fall out of my ass. And then, you know what's so funny? It's like, no, mine does not. But, you know, as getting older, you see certain things, you meet certain people. And it's like, some people might, you know, different heavy, larger, wider strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Exactly. But wow.
And it's like, nah, that's disrespectful in my, even though I laughed at it, it's like, that is disrespectful because you're not talking to me for understanding. You really just took a dig at me.
Yeah, pretty much. You
took a dig at me because you're like, oh, gays get fucked in the ass so much. You must be really loose. It's like, girl, I don't ask you if babies just fall out your cooch.
Yeah.
Does your tampon just fall out? Do you swim in your menstrual from your bed to your kitchen? Like, girl, I don't know what. Like, that's crazy to me. It's like, but if you were talking to somebody and they're genuinely trying to get like understanding.
Yeah, like if you're trying to have a genuine conversation, then yes. But when something like that, no, bitch, go away. Get the fuck out of
I honestly wish we could. Yeah. Can we get like a piece of that part that I found that I liked?
What I do want to say is we're having this conversation because we have to have difficult conversations.
Yes.
We have to have some type of understanding. And this is not about that we are not letting you live your life or like we are not acknowledging you. Because yes, we are acknowledging you. You have the right to live. And we have to have an understanding that we have to have difficult conversations that deal with our morals and ethics and worldview. So in that way we can get to a point to comprehend what we want in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's not about that I'm trying to oppress you or that you don't have the rights to live, because it's not that. So we have to have this type of conversations.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it says, the current explosion of trans activism is urging a removal of almost all the robust systems through which candidates for sex reassignment were once required to pass. A man who intends to have no surgery and take no hormones may now secure himself a gender recognition certificate and be a woman in the sight of the law. Many people aren't aware of this.
Ooh.
I want to be very clear here. I know transition will be a solution for some gender dysphoric people. Although I'm also aware through extensive research that studies have consistently shown that between 60% and 90% of gender dysphoric teens will grow out of their dysphoria.
So in other words, there's a majority of group that will go through their transition and everything, but later on will feel that was not the course for them to have.
And the thing is, like, sometimes things are a phase and it's okay. But the thing is, I understand, like, I do want to say I understand why it is a can of worms to say that, because I do understand that if you can be influenced to be gay, then you can be influenced to be straight. You know, there's a really big issue with conversion therapy.
Exactly, because of that, then you kind of trying to give a point or give them like a credit.
Yeah, you're right. And it's like, I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying that people change. You know, ideas change, your mind changes, your body changes, and you. Sometimes I don't understand why we're all acting like people don't make mistakes and do things to themselves that they later regret. Like, why is that not?
That's why I believe that there's supposed to be kind of like a passage in a way, like not spiritual, but it's more like.
Or like the theory, therapy.
Yeah, like a therapy. Yeah, like it has to be a process between you and yourself. An understanding between you and yourself that you have to go through, so in that way you can grow and understand who you are.
Right.
So if you do not have that process, if you don't have that stage of understanding who you are and figuring out who you are and like having a slow process, then you forget the main thing. Like if you think that you're gay, or not really that you think that you're gay, it's more like you feel that you're gay and that you have an attraction, you have to go through a process to understand who you are and everything and find yourself to the point where you are going to be like, yes, I am gay.
Right.
You know, the same with being a lesbian or even being straight, because the thing is, it's like kind of like you have to, in some way, test the waters.
Yeah.
Go through a journey with yourself
Right.
to understand who you are.
Right.
And until you do not have that, you will not be able to be you. So if you feel that you are a man, you know, that you were born in a woman body, but you feel that you're a man, then you have to go through a process with yourself to be able to get to that point.
Yeah.
And some people are forgetting that there's supposed to be a process, that it takes time to understand who you are.
I feel like the future is going to be, because I often think like, okay, so what's being a man? What's being a woman? If being masculine does not equate, manhood, and being feminine does not equate femininity, and if you having a baby doesn't equate you womanhood, like what is being a man? What is being a woman? Like, and I think that's the thing that a lot of like cis hetero, people have, the issue they have with like the gays and the trans and, the a whatever and all that stuff, because I feel like they feel like we are blurring the line of identity, which means if we're blurring the line for identity, it does not just stop at us, it also blurs the line for them. And when you feel what you feel and you were taught what you're taught and you have an identity, so to speak, that you think is you, and somebody comes and blurs that line and says, oh no, you're not a woman, I don't care how many babies you have, your menstrual, your feminine, your frilly dresses and all that stuff,
or
that doesn't make
like
you a woman, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like, well, what is a woman then?
Yeah.
If they have stripped you of all these things that you feel have built you to be a woman, then what exactly is a woman? And vice versa for a man. It's like you have stripped this person. And I think sometimes that's the issue they have. It's like a lot of cis hetero biologically, if you say born men or women, feel like they are being devalued in a way.
Yeah,
devalued because of trans women and trans men, and devalued and stripped of their identity. So it's all just like a huge fucking identity crisis for everybody, because now you are getting all these other ideas, and it's like, how do I be in this?
Because of that process, there's gonna be a a pullback.
Yeah.
People like
reluctancy.
Like people are not going to be able to be okay. And
right.
It's like, it's not about just us as the LGBT community. We also need to understand that it's also about people that are straight. That they also, if we are going through this process in life, then they also need to understand who they are.
Right.
And if they can't do so because of the way that we think, then it becomes a problem.
Right.
And so then that's why people going to lash out. And so the thing is, from us as the LGBT community, we have to be, in a way, the bigger person.
But see, I know that argument, and I know the argument of like black people should be the bigger person to white people. Because the thing is, when you feel like you have always been the bigger person, that you've kind of been forced to be the bigger person because you are in somebody else's world and you're just trying to find your place in it, you're like, I'm tired of being the bigger person. I've been the bigger person because I was born into this with you.
Yeah.
And y'all run the world. You straight people run the world. And I'll say that with a heavy quotes because truthfully, the gays are behind everything.
They've always been.
People who, got all types of sexual desires are behind everything. If you really, the thing is, the picture is for the straights to be the model, that's what you should be. Straight is what you should be. Like white is what you should be. So when you feel like you've been born into this reality where it's like, no, I want to break out. I want to be myself and I want to be able to find my place, and I'm tired of being nice to you. So it's like, we feel like we've already been that, but you're trying to change us.
The thing is, it's fine if you have been nice. It's fine if you have been nice to that person. It's fine that I'm tired of being the bigger person. But you have to be respectful.
You do.
I have to give you some type of respect. So for me to give you some type of respect, I still have to be the bigger person.
Fuck. We're going to have to go. Fuck. Oh my gosh.
That's how it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I get you, because I get what you're saying. But me as a person, and it's very like weird for me to say it, because sometimes I don't want to be the bigger person.
Right.
And I don't want to be like
one,
the ideal and everything. But I have to understand that I have to be the bigger person.
That's true.
And I have to be respectful.
That's true. That's true.
Even though it will kill me, it will be so prideful of me and everything, but I have to be the bigger person.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Okay, all right. So I hate this. I hate we got to wrap this up.
I know.
But we will continue this conversation because this is always an evolving discussion.
And if you feel that it's good and everything, give us questions.
Yeah.
Let us know and everything, so that way we can respond to them on the next episode.
Right. So make sure you do your daily saintly duties. Like, share,
subscribing, share, liking, commenting, and all those things.
And we are the two voices of the week.
Stark Native.
And I'm Omari.
And I'm Eddie. Our culture unfiltered.
Thank y'all so much. We love y'all and we hope y'all have a good day.